Live. 1 second while I adjust my phone because it's sitting on a button. There you go. Okay. Yeah, my dog started like making a sound and it freaked me out, so I had to pause and then decided to walk her. Anyway, if you're new here, hi, my name is Allie. I'm a tarot reader, an intuitive coach. For the past 5 years, this is for the new moon eclipse in Aries on the 29th. So earlier we were on the internet looking for some astrology information. So we're going to do this again. I am looking at Moon Omens. It's a website that you can check out that's pretty accurate. Solar eclipse in Aries, a sacred passage into the new. All right, March 29th, a new moon solar eclipse in Aries takes place. Solar eclipses are catalysts for profound change. They disrupt our routines, shake up the status quo, and push us towards necessary shifts. This new moon solar eclipse energy occurring in the first sign of the zodiac is a powerful invitation to invite. No, I read that wrong. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. To leave behind what no longer serves us and step up with confidence into a new era. So I would say, from what I've noticed so far, this eclipse energy is very charged, but it's not just the eclipse, it's the other transits that are going on, which we'll get into that as well. I usually don't do too well during Mercury retrogrades, and I blame it on my Gemini rising because it's an air sign, and Mercury rules Gemini, so it's like more energy of that than I need necessary. You know what I'm saying? So Mercury being Gemini, if you guys understand Gemini energy, the only ones that do are air signs, really. They are the sign of like local travel, gossip, communication. And it's funny whenever I mention Gemini and gossip because they're like, no, we don't do that. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And as a Gemini rising, it's like, it's just in our nature, and it's not that we mean to, it's just the sake of sharing information. So during Mercury retrogrades, there's usually things of like past arguments, past conversations, past people, things that were left unresolved. This could even be like bills, contracts, things like that. There's usually travel delays. What else? That's mostly it for Mercury. But then we have Mars. I think it went direct, but it was in retrograde for a while. And then we have still Venus retrograde, and I think that's probably not the best one, but it is what it is. I've definitely noticed a pattern for me every Venus retrograde. So the ones that are going to feel it the most for this eclipse is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The individuals personally impacted by this event are being initiated into a brand new chapter of their lives. They are being called to step up, move forward with courage, and break old cycles. This eclipse urges them to assert their presence in the world, take decisive action, and become leaders of their lives. Scrolling down a little bit. Aries, a cardinal fire sign associated with initiation, birth, action, and new beginnings, ruled by Mars, named after the god of war. Aries teaches us to go after what we desire rather than wait for things to come to us. When Aries energy is activated by a solar eclipse, the key word is action. The momentum surges and propels us forward. This is a time to make bold choices and be courageous in the pursuit of our desires. Aries fire demands bravery and decisiveness. This event reminds us that transformation is not passive, that we must take an active role in our lives to create the reality we aspire to experience. There won't be another eclipse in the sign of Aries until 2032. Therefore, we are also experiencing the end of a cycle. There is one that began with the North Node's ingress in the sign of the Ram on July 17th, 2023. So check your phone notes, check your journals. I personally like to look through iPhone photos and dates to kind of give me a good snapshot of like what's interconnected there. So look back to July 17th, 2023. For this reason, the current solar eclipse marks a threshold between the past and the future and pushes us towards an uncharted territory while the winds of change are blowing strong. Endings and beginnings are happening in unison as the solar eclipse in Aries occurs, promoting a brand new cycle of personal and collective evolution. This event invites us to take care of unresolved past matters to be able to create space for new opportunities. Oh, yeah, there it is. Solar eclipse conjunct the North Node. Yeah. This is also another reason why this one feels extra powerful. So the new moon solar eclipse occurs in the early degrees of Aries and is conjunct with the North Node in the late degrees of Pisces. This reinforces the feeling that we are experiencing both an ending and a new beginning, that something must come to an end for something new to emerge. An eclipse on the North Node always points the way forward, as the North Node represents an energy we are invited to master and embody in order to progress on our evolutionary path. In Pisces, the North Node emphasizes the importance of tending to our spiritual well-being, allowing illusions to dissolve and to be able to connect with what is true in an absolute universal sense. This event underlines the value of closure and completion before we embark on new endeavors to avoid energy drainers, unfinished business, and loose ends. The new moon solar eclipse in Aries reminds us that some doors must be fully closed for the new ones to open. Solar eclipse conjunct Mercury, Venus, and Neptune. The sun and the moon at 8 degrees Aries are wildly conjunct with Mercury in Aries, as well as Neptune, Venus, and the North Node in Pisces. Ooh, man. So I have a pretty strong Aries placement, and I was raised by an Aries mother. So it's very hard to hurt my feelings. I have a pretty thick exterior. I also have an Aries brother, and I've had a couple close relationships with Aries. They're definitely unapologetic, like quick to argue with you, but slow to anger at the same time. Like they're usually not ones to hold a grudge, and if Aries does hold a grudge, I would say, what's going on there? Which is interesting because I actually had a recent conversation with an Aries that was definitely triggered by this Mercury retrograde. And I was like, where is this coming from? Like, this is an old conversation. And it was just so out of the blue to me, but it was obviously a thought or something that was lingering in the energy. And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, because of the retrograde. As I ramble about how my life is affected by this, Mercury and Venus retrograde offer us an opportunity to revisit unresolved matters, obviously, particularly in areas related to communication, relationships, values, and finances, and invites us to see them in a new light. That's definitely been happening for me. Mercury's condition signals a need to reflect on past conversations, decisions, and question habitual ways of thinking. Choose a more intuitive, heart-centered approach rather than a purely relational one. Venus retrograde conjunct Neptune in Pisces emphasizes the importance of aligning with higher values, cultivating a sense of devotion in everything we do, letting go of superficial attachments, and focusing on what is truly meaningful. Definitely feeling the need to do some spring cleaning for sure. I would say I've been on the minimalist road for some years now, like over like 7 years. I wouldn't say I'm a minimalist, but it is a journey. It is a journey. But I have the urge to purge and go through my belongings and get rid of stuff for sure. The activation on Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces underscores the need for closure and completion. Neptune enters Aries on March 30th in just a few hours and is now on the last degree of his home sign, a point of critical changes of both crisis and opportunities. Once again, these are clear indicators of a transitionary nature of these times, the invitation of us to make sure we are having things wrapped up and what is coming to an end in order to make space for the new. This can feel overwhelming, confusing, and potentially chaotic as multiple transitions are happening simultaneously, demanding our attention. The Mars Pluto opposition, evolution, and revolution. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy astrology going on, you guys. So I would say, like, I mean, looking back on the past 5 years when I started tracking this for myself, like, there have been huge life-changing shifts that happen during every eclipse. And then this one, I just have no idea. What I do know is that my life is probably not going to look the same like a year from now, whatever that looks like, even the people around me, like, and I feel like even so much has changed from not the last eclipse we had one, what was it? Was it over the transition between summer and fall? Was it that one? One major one for me, like, that I keep looking back to, and maybe it's because it's in correlation with, what did they say? It was July 17th, 2023. I guess that would, yeah, I guess that does kind of tie into the one I'm thinking of, which is November 2023. That eclipse, I had a reading for that, and that one's still playing out, and I just don't, I still don't understand, like, what is happening to our lives, you guys? Anyway, now we are about 11 minutes in. I think we're good. Do we have enough people in the room? Okay, cool. So last video I did, I said that I would start on the sign for the birthday month. So we are officially in Aries season. So let's start on Aries. So we're not here all day. If you're in the chat, I can't see what you're saying. There's got to be a way. Can I do that? I was trying to look earlier. Can I participate in the chat while I'm recording on my phone? Is that possible? It can't be that hard, right? Audio library? That can't be it. Is it create? No. Go live. I'm already live, though. How do I join my current live, you guys? On the computer. Is it this one? Why does it say uploaded? I definitely deleted that. Oh, that was the one that we had a... Can I delete forever? Ah. Alright. I'll figure it out a different day, you guys. Show me Aries. What is this eclipse changing for them? What do they need to know? This is like a 6-month energy, but you know how it is. Time is linear. Show me Aries. 10 of Swords. Definitely some endings. Queen of Cups. 10 of Pentacles. The Emperor. 2 of Swords. Can you guys see good? Okay, I wanted to make sure that you guys see the cards. And I'm not sure, like, how my audience, quote unquote, feels about that, but I'm like half like care about how people want to see it. Also half I want to have my own freedom to create. And if I feel like doing it this way, then I'm just going to do it this way. So I don't know. I would say like a good amount of my people like to see their cards. I think the hardest part about this so far is like timestamps. I hate rewatching and having to deal with that. But I guess as the community grows, maybe you guys can help out with that. Aries, really interesting message. And I got this for someone else that I did a personal reading for. So you might be dealing with a water sign or an Aquarius. Doesn't have to be. It could possibly be a friendship that is growing with like romantic feelings. Also getting a completely different storyline. If this is not romantic, this might have something to do with a child, like your teenage child. They could be around anywhere from, I said teen, but I'm thinking like adolescence, like 9 years old to mid 20s. Might have to relate to them. This person is going through some blockages, and it has something to do with it's either mental health, physical health, it's something health, and it feels like an addictive behavior pattern, habitual something that's like an attachment that's toxic that's affecting this connection. If it's not just a connection, it's a family dynamic. If this isn't you, Aries, this is someone around you. There is reconnection or reuniting with someone. I just feel like there are delays. Like, I feel like you have driven to this person or this person has traveled to you at some point. This person is like emotionally invested into you. Close my laptop. I'm feeling like there's been a lot of like disappointments in the connection or dynamic, as well as like depression. You or this person, I'm not really sure. Either you or the other person is looking for more information. So I don't know if like this has something to do with like family gossip or gossip in general. But there's like a conversation that's happening for sure. I don't know, part of me, you guys, kind of likes not looking at the chat because then I don't get as distracted and then I'm not answering all your guys' questions or even the weirdos in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So if you're being annoying, I can't see it. I don't even know how I did it last time. Last time I recorded, oh, but it wasn't like this setup. I swear I've tried. It was like very uncomfortable though. I'll have to get a different stand where it's like more multifunctional. It's just like, I don't know. I guess like some of the ones I saw on Amazon, they don't have a light. And I kind of want one with the light. I don't know. Anyway, back to you, Aries. I see a lot of dysfunction in a family dynamic that you're wanting to change or walk away from. It's definitely holding you back. It's not helping your energy, and there's a lot going on. Like this, there's a lot of this has to do with like feeling good and taking care of yourself, getting to the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, they always say King Zaddy, right? This is like sugar daddy vibes. That's what they say. But I don't know. He can be kind of selfish, can he? But why they say, sugar daddy, King of Pentacles, he is supposed to be in a position to take care of not just himself, but everyone around him. So if he runs a business, he's also paying his employees. He's also running his household. He takes care of his family, and he has more than enough for himself. And he's usually a very generous person. But I don't feel like when I see the King of Pentacles, I always get a generous person. But that's why people say King Zaddy. But that's kind of what's happening right now is you're kind of integrating different parts of yourself and life experiences to get you to this King of Pentacles, just FYI. If you're wondering like what's going on in your life and what you're going through, those are the changes that are happening. I do feel like I mean, obviously different storylines and take what resonates. If it's not romantic, it's strictly about a family situation, but it could be affecting your love life and emotionally affecting another person and how you, I'm hearing communicate. A possibility to collaborate creatively with someone, but I feel like you might be trying to get more information on that as well. Like you're trying to heal something. I don't know. It kind of feels like you're on this like soul searching mission, Aries. And I think that's okay, but I feel like you're super confused on like what you should be focusing on and your direction. I would say first and foremost, your priorities, yourself. That means your health, your money, your bills, the people you love and care about, but ultimately yourself. Because I feel like a lot of people have bad boundaries when it comes to family. Say you take care of, I don't know, family members in some way, and they always ask you for favors or asking for money, things like that. I would probably reevaluate how that's working for you. Because I do see like some kind of like overindulgence, maybe like possibly a mother possessive. It feels like very materialistic in some way, but whoever this person is to you, I don't feel like they look materialistic. It's more of like a feeding energy. Like they get a lot of like self satisfaction from something that you do. What? I don't know what this is about, Aries. How far have we gone? This is 21 minutes. What is that, 10 minutes on Aries? I think we're good there, right? Can we stop there? I was like trying to pull as much cards as possible. All right, moving along. So it's easier for me to go in the direction of elements. So we'll continue with fire signs. Let's do Leo. Show me Leo. What does Leo need to know for this new moon eclipse? Ace of Cups. That's sweet. 5 of Wands in reverse. 21. I don't know why that's standing out to me. 21's the World card. The Chariot. The High Priestess. The Sun. Tell me more. Okay. Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. Can you see that? Sorry, it's kind of a funky angle. All right. Leo. Okay, so I feel like you're kind of wanting to expand and travel more. I know that's very generic, but you're going to feel intuitively, psychically pulled to a different place or maybe multiple places. I'm not really sure. This has a lot to do with self-love, things that make you happy. There's also another storyline coming to me, like if you're involved in a family dynamic or something like that. I feel like there's new love, like a possibility of a new pet or a new child, and just celebrating those moments as well. Okay, a side message. This is what? You might be experiencing some hormonal shifts if you're a woman, I guess. Go check out the doctor. You might like not be taking care of yourself enough. If this comes to like, say, pay time off, like maternity leave type of situation, I feel like you might need more time than you're thinking. I'm seeing something happen in Cancer season. So when is that? June, July-ish? Where you might want to make sure that you're very honest and proactive when it comes to your doctor appointments. And as I said that, there was a crow outside that crowed 5 times. Crows have been a huge significance to me for like a while now, actually. My mom used to have like a crow stalker. I wonder if she still does. Looking back on those kind of things that she would tell me, though, I kind of feel like she went through like a spiritual awakening shift herself where they were trying to get her attention. Because around the same time it started happening to me is when she like would tell me those things. As I'm rambling, Leo, this might be happening to you where like you are traveling and you might like, it might be activating an inner witch that hasn't happened yet. You might not know this about yourself, or you might like not be a practicing witch, but you do have like these capabilities, like these manifesting, mystical, magical kind of energy. Yeah, it's almost, it feels like a pending awakening, but there's something here about maybe having a hard time hearing it because of the lack of self-care that's going on. I do think you're trying your best. I just feel like there might be a new method to your healing that you haven't discovered yet. And you might discover this while you're traveling, even. So that's cool. Looks good. Where are we at? About 7 minutes? That's not bad. Okay. Moving on to Sag. I'm trying my best not to rush myself today with anything. Anything. I also like tend to have a lot of accidents. Like not anything crazy, but just like bumping my hand or parts of my body on furniture or walls. Whenever there's a Mercury retrograde, I just feel like very discombobulated and I tend to like feel very hurried. Like you can even kind of tell by my speech. Like I'll talk a lot faster. I have a lot of expression during Mercury retrogrades, man. I don't know what it is. Just funny because people that know me well like consider me a kind of a quiet person. And then Mercury retrograde hits and I just can't shut up. Show me Saggy for this eclipse. What does Sagittarius need to know? Show me Sag. King of Cups. Sagittarius. Page of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. What's all this? Three of Cups. Can you guys see good? I have to like tilt my head. I'm in an awkward position, you guys. Okay. Three of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, the Devil, Seven of Pentacles. Sagittarius. Well, what's happening for you this eclipse? I'm hearing emotional regulation. So you might feel more emotionally balanced. And what you're going to notice is that it's because of the people you surround yourself with, the people that support you, friends, good times, good vibes, things like that. This has something to do with your root, and also I'm hearing sacral chakra. So go check that out. There's something like deep seated that has something to do with your your goals, your values, your principles. That's going to be very important for your next phase. And it also, I feel like something that has to do with like alchemy and emotional expression. So if you're someone that struggles with like addictions, or you notice that you have like a hand to mouth kind of self-soothing energy, a lot of people don't know this about the King of Cups, is that I don't know, a lot of people are like, oh, he's so emotionally balanced, but he can also be emotionally manipulative. He could also use hand to mouth, like alcohol, snacks, sugar, things that soothes his emotions, and that's why he's so chill. That's like the shadow side of the King of Cups. And although you don't have anything in reverse with the Devil card being here, that's kind of what I'm getting. You might have like been in the process of getting away from people that drink. I'm a big believer in that too. Like, I don't feel like you need to have a drink to have a good time. And yet we live in a society where that's heavily promoted. Isn't it weird? So if you haven't found your people yet, I think you're going to. There's also a masculine in particular if you're a feminine. I don't know, reverse the roles if you need to. That has feelings for you. I feel like they've been holding space and kind of just like cheer you on. This could be possibly a friend. Oh, Queen of Cups. That's a good pair. Yeah, you might feel emotionally connected to a particular masculine. I'm not sure if you know how they feel about you, but there is a possible collaboration slash commitment. I'm also hearing Leo season. So keep an eye out for suitors and love and changes in that during Leo season. What is that, August? Hey guys, let me know. Hey, I can't read your username, but hi Bren, I do see you. I have a hard time reading the other one. I had a peek at the chat. It's really hard for me to see. I think that's what I got for you, Sagittarius. Not a bad reading. All right, let's move this along before I'm on here for like 3 hours. If you're just jumping on, welcome. This is a tarot reading for the new moon and eclipse in Aries, March 29th. Kind of a big deal, not gonna lie. Who should we do? Let's do air signs. Show me Aquarius. Show me Aquarius. What do they need to know for this eclipse? What is changing for them? Aquarius. Page of Cups. The Wheel. The Star. There you are, Aquarius. That's great. King of Wands. Man. I'm an Aquarius sun, so I'm like, I can already see how this is going to apply to me. Three of Wands, the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. What else fell out? We got the Ten of Cups, the Sun. Okay. Well, they're all good cards, right? That's good, Aquarius. Congratulations. We get a good reading for once. Actually, some huge changes for you, Aquarius. And okay, now I'm like really curious as an Aquarius. Fame. I'm hearing the word fame, like getting famous. You might have like an offer that puts you in the spotlight in some way. It's going to make you very happy. Like I do see a lot of like joy and harmony when it comes to like your family. If you have a pet, they're happy. If you have a lover, they're happy. And speaking of lover, here's the King of Wands. I have mixed feelings about the King of Wands. Like, I watched a tarot reader that I guess you could say I kind of learned from her. Her name is MJ from Soulful Revolution. She had like a tarot course that I did end up taking at my own pace at one point. But I wouldn't say that was like the best way that I learned, but it definitely did help me with like spreads and stuff. But anyway, she always says like King of Wands is her favorite as far as like a partner. But I don't know, he all he does is like think about his wand. You know what I'm saying? The King of Wands, if you don't know like the wand energy, it's passionate but also it represents a male's phallic. So with passion comes the D, I guess you could say. So this person might be coming in with that intention. I don't know. Apparently it's going to make you happy, but there's, no, here we are again. Oh, multiple messages. Okay, a couple things. So you might have emotions for this person or vice versa, but there's third party energy here. So this person finds you heavily attractive. Could be a possibility of some kind of like run-in, like a physical run-in if you're not talking to this person. You guys might have had a falling out. If this isn't a lover, this could also possibly be a family member, whether it's a fire sign or a water sign. If it's a third party, I see fire sign, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer are the main ones that I'm getting, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, I don't know. If you want to have fun, I guess there's fun, but I don't know. There's something about this person that does mirror you. I just don't know. It feels like a series of events playing out. Like it definitely doesn't feel like one big boom, although the tower is here. But with the tower comes the star, so there's healing. So there's something very unexpected happening when it comes to a lot of things. I think it's pretty much everything in your life. So you're going to be going through transitions when it comes to like your family, your kids, love, reputation, business and career. So if you're trying to get more attention when it comes to your business and generating more income, I do see that happening. There's also something here about a possible family member having health issues that you care about. On a side message, you might have someone that you left out in the cold or vice versa that is heavily contemplating you, and they're kind of going through their own awakening where they're having an aha moment on something. I kind of feel like this person is like they're gaining a higher level of consciousness. Like, do you see this? Oh, tower wanted to throw itself. Here's him thinking. And here's the tower above him. Apparently, this person might be able to process certain things a lot better, especially if it's emotional, by themselves. I don't know why they want that to make that very apparent. So if it's someone that you had like a falling out with, gosh, when I channel messages, you guys, they like move a lot faster in my head than I'm able to speak them. And then I can't speak properly because they're just moving so fast. And then I'm trying to talk really fast to get the information out. Anyway, it's interesting because there's a mirroring going on between you and another person and fit where this applies. Like if this isn't your storyline, don't make it fit. But something that happened when you were a teenager that was never resolved, those are things that you're kind of resolving individually if you're not talking with this person. But you had like a similar wounding. Also, regardless of what's happening currently, if you guys aren't talking, this person misses you and you miss them. So I think you guys just need to cut the crap. I don't know what this is, but I could definitely see how it applies to my life. A possibility for a higher level of commitment or to create something meaningful is what I'm hearing. Something meaningful being the main subject of like this whole spread, to be honest. Purpose and meaning is what I'm hearing. Aquarius, on a side message to wrap up the rest of your reading, because how long have we been on you? Sorry, I'm being biased with Aquarius. There's something about like feeling. Why is my hand itchy? That usually means that money is coming. And then you got the Nine of Pentacles. So definitely good money. Gosh, that hasn't happened to me in a while, you guys. Why is it so itchy? You don't really have to work that hard, Aquarius. If I almost get like the feeling that you feel like you have to push for a certain outcome, or that things are meant to be hard, and I almost feel like the biggest struggle is with yourself. I know that's hard to hear. And my ego is currently bruised as I'm reading for myself. There's a lot of swords, so you might be a little bit too much in your head. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, definitely too much in your head. But you're definitely realizing some deep truths, maybe emotions that you have for another person. I'm also hearing like depression. So if you've been struggling with that, I think you're going to find something that supports you in order to deal with that. I do see travel for you, and also a new love. Like you might have a choice between two people, Aquarius. Oh, there was the other message that like flew by, but I couldn't grasp it. Like if you felt tied down before, you definitely don't need to anymore. I don't know what this is. Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords. No, Nine of Swords. What is this? You have like a lot of energetic burdens that are not yours to carry. So this might be in regards to like someone that you're dealing with. You got to be really careful with your energy. Like say you're a sidekick or an intuitive and you're just highly sensitive kind of person, an empath. You really got to like make sure that the people that you surround yourself with, hang out with, sleep with, all that kind of jazz, that they're energetically clean as too, because I feel like something is rubbing off on you that it's not yours. So if you've been heavily thinking about a person and getting anxiety, it might not even be your anxiety. I would definitely clear your energy, sage, incense, spiritual bath. Like I would focus on reclaiming your own energy because that energy is not yours. Just FYI. And this might be something that you're learning about yourself. Like, you might be an Aquarius that's more introverted. Maybe that's why the Virgo came out. A lot going on for you, Aquarius. We're going to end that there. All right, let's do Gemini. I got to get Gemini out of the way with this Mercury retrograde, you guys. Show me Gemini. Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for this eclipse. Excuse me. I had a hiccup. Gemini. 5 of Pentacles. That landed weird. That's a lot. You gotta separate them, Spirit. Show me Gemini. The Hanged Man in the upright. That's good. Hierophant, the Knight of Wands. 7 of Cups in reverse. The Devil. 7 of Wands. The Chariot. What is happening? June's going to be a very big month for people, you guys. I think it's because, is it Jupiter that moves into Cancer? That's pretty important, especially when it comes to like home and family. Seven of Wands, 6 of Cups, the Lovers. Here you are, Gemini. Not delusional anymore. Those are the words that I heard, so I don't know what that's about. I don't know if this is in regards to a person or what. Gemini, I think you're going through an awakening. You might have been on a holding pattern. So whether this was like a pause of some kind, this could have been to focus on your health. But it definitely feels like spiritually purposeful is what I'm hearing. So the pause, like you having to take time off of work and focus on health matters and being forced to, I feel like that was spirit doing it because they were seeing the road that you were heading on and they were like, wait a second, this ain't working. Right now, actually, Gemini, when it comes to like work, I don't know why there's no work cards technically. I guess Saturn is here with the Devil card. You're meant to like be moving around. But also feels like something about like this feels like learning. And it also feels like teaching. So while you're learning something, you might be teaching something as well and communicating about it and I want to say travel, but it also doesn't feel like travel. So I don't know what this is, but the Knight of Wands is here. And then the Chariot is here as well. So maybe there's travel. Oh, okay. You might be meeting people that hold your newfound beliefs while you're traveling. So this, I don't know if this is like a metaphysical shop or a spiritual guru of some kind, but that seems to be part of the storyline here. If it's not that, this feels like a past childhood friend or someone that you used to have a commitment with or have children with. What is going on with Gemini? You have so many random storylines. Gemini, the biggest thing happening for you this eclipse is learning. You're learning a new experience and you're really taking it and doing it. So whether this is like really living within your beliefs and your value system, say you picked up a new spiritual craft or religion, like you're doing that kind of thing. I feel like it's a matter of you like really practicing it, and almost in a way like if you were like more quiet about these kind of things, you might be more open to sharing it with other people that you meet. There could also be projects that are based on whatever these newfound beliefs and principles are. There's also a side message of possibly trying to fit yourself in a system that is actually more energetically burdensome to you. And the universe put yourself on pause, basically, in order for you to realize that. So if you're still trying to go back to like a new or an old way of living, I think you're recognizing that it's just not going to work for you. There's something about like how certain things affect your mental health, Gemini, that you need to take into consideration. It's almost like you walking through a threshold, like an energetic threshold. It looks really good. New friends definitely coming in your sphere. Like, you might feel oddly connected to whoever this is, or it might be multiple people. That definitely fits the theme with Pluto and Aquarius, you guys. All right, let me check the phone. Where are we at? 51 minutes. I feel like I'm going a lot longer on this reading compared to all the other ones. We haven't even done Libra yet. Get me to Libra, please. I wish I could figure out how to pause the lives. Can I go on intermission? I can't remember. Have I done that before? Let me push some buttons, you guys. No, I don't think I can go on intermission. Community moderation. Start a poll, start a question in A. What is all this? Retouch on? What does that mean? Oh, I can have a green screen? You guys, I was not aware. Sorry. Whatever. I was gonna go on intermission. We'll do Libra. What are we on? We did fire signs, air signs. We're finishing air signs. Show me Libra for this eclipse. Libra. You guys really gotta hand it to the tarot reader YouTubers because it does take up a lot of your energy. And I'm still trying to figure out, how do they do this? Some of them like post multiple videos every day, and I'm just like, how? That's the kind of game I'm trying to be on, you guys. Slowly but surely. Six of Pentacles. Show me Libra. I was going to take a card, but if it wants to come out, it will come out. Ace of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. So many Pentacles. King of Pentacles. You're definitely going to be about your money, Libra. Okay. Seven of Wands, the Emperor, the Four of Cups, the Empress. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Take what resonates. Technically, that's you, Libra, the Empress. So you might be more in your feminine energy, being more willing to receive. Some other signs I'm seeing is an earth sign or a fire sign, but doesn't have to be. King of Pentacles, the Emperor, possible Aries. Six, seven, eight. Libra, you're going to be very much about your money and work, but I do see love here. I don't think you're looking at it, though. That's the weird thing. You're almost focused more so on having control over your life. Control. That word is sticking out very much so. Maybe that has something to do with the almost said Aries transit. Mars transit, technically. Be careful of making decisions from a Four of Cups space. This is like apathy, boredom, unsatisfied, disappointed. I don't feel like that's a great place or energy to be in to make decisions, but to each their own. You might be focused on protecting your peace, protecting your money, making sure that you give more than enough to yourself. Like if you are running a business, you're focused on, what is that word? I'm hearing systems. So if you're creating new systems for your business, that seems to be highlighted. And also, if you're concerned about that, don't be, because it looks really good. So altogether, the Pentacle energy sets you up to be at the Nine of Pentacles, which technically frees you. So say you feel like you have too much on your plate, like you've been like really hustling and protecting your business. I don't know why I'm hearing protecting your business, but the Seven of Wands is there. So it's like a very stand up and take control kind of energy, especially with the Emperor being at the bottom. But there's a significant relationship here. That's what's kind of weird about all these pentacles, is that this has a lot to do with love. So I don't know if you are an acts of service person or the person that you're dealing with is, but I get like a family, like a mom, a child, possible like even like a blended family situation. You might be moving. I don't know if you're planning this, but it's going to require you to walk from away from something else, whether it's a mother figure or a possible friend, water sign. I also see a coworker. There might be multiple people leaving your life, Libra, at the same time coming into your life, which is very much eclipse energy, like that revolving door. I feel like you're not going to have a whole lot of time to like think about this, because it's going to move a lot quicker than you're expecting. But I see a new relationship here that you're wanting to pour into. Excuse me, I don't know. What is this? There's so many people here. Why is there so many people? Oh, this feels like siblings. So I don't know if you're like trying to bring your family members closer together, but I do see that happening and being a possibility. This also feels like soul family, like soul kin that you haven't seen in a long time, like childhood friends, things like that. And then there's something about like healing a broken heart from something that happened when you were younger. I'm also hearing heart on your sleeve. So say, think back to the last time that you did have your heart on your sleeve. There's something being avoided about whatever that is, like how much it might have hurt you, how much it might have affected you and affected your relationships. That needs to be set free. Okay, that's what I got for you, Libra. We got to move on because I keep pulling cards. I just like felt like it wasn't enough information to the cards I was getting, so I just kept pulling. I get nosy, you guys. All right, let's do Virgo. Show me Virgo for this eclipse. Virgo. All right, that keeps coming out today. Page of Cups, the World, the Knight of Swords, Virgo, the Nine of Pentacles, Hierophant, Five of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, King of Swords. Okay. A lot of swords, Virgo. Which usually tells me that you're too much in your head. This might have something to do with, okay, interesting. I'm hearing paranoia. So I don't know if you've struggled with, paranoid thoughts, or if this isn't paranoia, it might have something to do with like brain health, mental wellness. You catch my drift, right? There's something that you're trying to heal from. You might even be looking at professional advice or spiritual advice. Okay, interesting message, Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Take what resonates. Whatever this is, whatever you're going through with, like, it's definitely health related. Three of Swords here with the Hierophant. Whatever this is, it is something that's going to inspire you to share with other people around the world. So I don't know if you have like an online platform of some kind, but I'm also getting that you have like the sight to see self-sabotaging behaviors. So this is giving me like very much, and I'm like a Virgo moon, so I could totally see how this applies, but it's giving me very much like mentor coach kind of vibes. So if you're like a spiritual mentor or coach or fitness coach or spiritual mentor, blah, blah, blah. I feel like there's a turning point when it comes to either like a product of yours or an offer, because you have an experience here where other people are more than ready and willing to pay you for your services. Because I kind of feel like a lot of people are also, or have been, in this stuck kind of energy, and they also want to know how to set themselves free, have more confidence, gain more independence, and something about your story really resonates with more than one person. Virgo, a side message. There might be something that you discover where you realize that you focused a little bit too much on material and worldly possessions, and that it got you caught up in something that no longer serves you. So if you're wanting to create harmony in a situation, say you're thinking about building a family or having a committed partnership and blah, 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 there's something being revealed to you on certain patterns that you've experienced that ends up sabotaging. I don't know, it has something to do with like harmony and like the home and family sphere. Does that make sense? Okay, we're 64 minutes in, so I'm gonna move along, citizen. Let's get into Capricorn. And we still gotta do water signs, you guys. I would say all signs typically take about an hour to an hour and a half. But I mean, I listen to some readers where they're doing lives for 3 hours, and I just don't know. It's so easy to get caught up. My schedule does not. I'm just too much of a restless person to be able to sit for 3 hours. I could probably do 2 hours. I've done that before. I did a 3-hour live with Doug on Instagram, And that was tough. Like, we definitely should have talked about that beforehand. When we ended up talking about that, like, hey, we should check in with each other like midway, like an hour, and see how each other is feeling, because it is very draining, and it really depends like who is in the chat too. Like, you would be surprised. There's some strong toxic energies that end up on live chats, and it just like, it feels like I want to stop. I don't want to read anymore. I'm very picky about who I do personal readings for, so if you're toxic, I'm probably gonna say no. Like, you can't pay me enough to deal with your energy, to be honest. And that's not who I am to be of service to anyway. You know what I'm saying? Did we do Capricorn, you guys? We just finished Virgo, right? Well, I can't read that. I'm trying so hard to read the chat, but I cannot see it. Okay, show me Capricorn. I don't think we just did Virgo, correct? The Tower, the Six of Cups, the Judgment, Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Five of Wands. Eight of Pentacles. All right, Capricorn. Sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings. Right off the bat, Capricorn, I feel like there's a lot going on around you. But it's not even necessarily you. At the same time, I feel like there's something going on internally, emotionally with you that you can't even pay attention to, because you have so much happening and changing around you. This feels very important because there's a reconciliation coming up with a past person. Could be an ex, but doesn't have to be. This could be like soul kin. This could also have something to do with a sibling. I see you traveling to this person, or you driving to them, something like that. You might run into this person at like an event or out in public, or something to do with work. I don't know, but there's an opportunity to squash an argument or some kind of conflict, because the fives are here, so that represents conflict. And then all this energy, and then there's the Ten of Pentacles. So that's weird. What is happening? The truth will set you free is what I heard. I don't know what's happening, you guys. You're gonna have to tell me. Gosh, spring season makes me itchy. I'm also hearing dogwood. I'm seeing like pictures of flowers, and spring being pretty significant when it comes to changes. And you might even be moving. I don't know if you really necessarily planned for this move, but I see you looking at your money, and you're going to be going from the 8 to the 4 of Pentacles, which means that after making this move that you're probably going to be saving. But 4, 5, 6, I don't think it will be too long before you're breaking even, if that's what you're concerned about. Like, if you're concerned that you're going to be living paycheck to paycheck while you make this transition, I don't think that's happening. Actually, a very good time for investment. And I want to say this months that I'm getting are Taurus season, as well as Virgo season, as well as Cancer season, being highly significant months for you with big change. There might be someone, someone coming towards you wanting to offer some kind of commitment. If it's not a commitment, it's a creative project that could be highly profitable for you. So I don't know if this is like a business deal or an investor or something. It looks very good. It looks very good. It looks like a wish. Ooh, new love. Ace of Cups. I think your main focuses. I don't even know. What did we talk about in the beginning of this reading? Because you have like so much going on. You're like soaking up other people's energy more so compared to yours, to where it's making it difficult for you to make decisions because you don't know how you feel. You're feeling things, yes, you're feeling very deeply, but you don't know what they are. Makes sense? So I think during this time is when you're going to be figuring that out. And when you realize this, it's going to be pretty quick, like out of nowhere type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere. At the same time, it feels like a long time coming, is what I'm hearing. Okay, Capricorn, I'm getting out of this because this is chaotic. This is so chaotic. Well, good for you, Capricorn. It looks good. Honestly, so far, most of the eclipse readings have been pretty positive. I guess it depends on your perspective, right? We're always exactly where we need to be, right? Show me Taurus. Show me Taurus. When are we about like halfway through, right? A little bit more than that. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm also on Instagram where I post more consistently there. Pretty much like all my social media platforms, I have like completely different content, but sometimes I do repost like my About Your Ex shorts, those kind of videos. I do post over on TikTok as well. But sometimes I will feel called to jump on a TikTok live stream. I'm just like not a huge fan of TikTok live streams so far. I prefer their algorithm for regular posting, like a posting schedule. But as far as like the lives, I just like, I don't know, maybe I just haven't got my groove yet. Now on Instagram, I use it more as like an educational purposes for like people that are interested in coaching. I share a lot of my shadow work journal prompts. And then the extended versions I put on my Patreon, where I have like a little bit of a Patreon community going on. My intuitive coaching members get access to the Patreon community. I'm also slowly but surely putting together a tarot learning course on Patreon where I do weekly card interpretations as well as beginner-friendly spreads, things like that. What else am I up to? I am thinking about offering a new service for people that are interested in more like monthly coaching, because I know the 6-month program is, I don't know, I want it to be more accessible for everyone, to someone that can't afford that kind of lump sum. Although I just changed my website to where you can do payment plans for the intuitive coaching program. I can't remember if I accepted Klarna. I do know that I have PayPal as well as debit card. I'm not sure if you can do payment plans on all of them, but it wouldn't even matter like what service. Say you just wanted a regular tarot reading, which is $44.44. You could do that, and when you check out, you can do monthly payment plans for that. I mean, I hope you guys aren't that broke. I hope you're not. But hey, I mean, the struggle's real. There have been times, you guys, where I had like maybe a few $100s to my name, if even, and I still got a tarot reading because I knew the value of the tarot reading was going to produce me results. And if you're someone that gets like stuck in indecision, or you get lost and don't know your way, and you get like that intuitive pull, like, okay, it's time, like there's no reason for sitting in this, having a tarot reading is extremely useful. So I found it invaluable, and like, I look at money as a resource, not necessarily a currency. It's more of like an energy exchange. Does that make sense? Like, I don't really stress about my prices too much unless like, it's like the virtual calls where you're working more so like on your hourly like time. Does that make sense? Like if it demands my attention right then and there to be of service for someone, then it's a different kind of energy exchange. And it's also harder and more difficult to schedule. However, we're currently trying to, I guess, refine what we're currently doing. So I'm not going to necessarily be doing more. It's just going to be more streamlined. There's going to be more of a flow to it. There's obviously a method to my madness. I do plan to make like a physical, like visual diagram of like how I want this to be, but trying to stay open-minded as we go through these transitions. I'll stop rambling so we can get to the water signs. Taurus, the World, the Emperor, King of Swords, Two of Wands in reverse. Speaking of indecisions, Taurus, the Emperor in reverse, the Queen of Cups. Why is that? It must be Neptune, that's why. All the planets that are like retrograde or being highlighted during this eclipse season, like all those signs are coming out in the cards, you guys. Just can't be making this shit up, can I? What? Taurus. What is happening? Sorry, let the energy come through. Okay, Taurus. A lot of people are moving, I'll tell you that. You might be looking into moving your family, but then I think this kind of leaks into like extended family. Now, with that being said, there might be like extended family kind of gossip or external pressures. Like, say your extended family is pressuring your immediate family to play a certain narrative, something like that. I think you're trying to make it work, but you're being discerning, trying to get more information, seeing if it sits right with you. I don't feel like it does. I feel like your internal insides are saying to not make a move on whatever this is. When it comes to real estate, I don't think... Take this with a grain of salt. I always have a legal disclaimer on my videos, or at least I hope so. I have to double check that, you guys. But my readings get like so deep, and you guys would be shocked the kind of questions that people ask me. Like, we'll get into that a different day so we don't get too off your reading, but it does apply to your storyline. Where what I was gonna say is that if you hired like a real estate agent or like an attorney or someone with a certificate that specializes in their position, feels legal, and the King of Swords usually is, except it's in the reverse, which means that there's misinformation or unethical... Can't find the word. There's something unethical going on here. So that might not be your best fit. So say that you, I don't know why I'm hearing this, but if you got a referral from a friend to hire a certain realtor, I would not. And say you already had an intuitive feeling about whatever this is, I would listen to that. But you might have external pressure from family or this friend that referred whoever this is to you. Okay, that was so hard to get out. That was so hard to get out. Big investment for real. All in all, I do think that you have everything you need in order to make this move or this manifestation for yourself. It's just, I don't think like the first, like say if you're doing bids, I don't think the first bid is what you're going to get or what's going to be accepted or how that's going to play out. I feel like you might want to get a second opinion kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to get off of this, Taurus. That was your message. All right. Let's do Scorpio. Show me Scorpio for this eclipse. Show me Scorpio. Show me Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know? Four of Wands. The Four of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. King of Pentacles. Man, that's a repetitive card. Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands. Scorpio, I'm hearing being a novice. Okay. What's happening to you, Scorpio, during this eclipse season? You're in like an energetic pathway that's moving you towards the King of Pentacles, where you feel very secure, stable within your money. You're trying to find, sorry about that, you're trying to find a way to be able to move around with your money. So say you want to like, whatever I dropped, say you wanted to travel while you make money. You want to be a travel agent. You want to be able to go on vacation while you make money. Or you want to be able to, I'm hearing passive income. That definitely seems possible. On a side note, I don't feel like you're going to be working alone. So if you've been doing that, stop doing that. And I feel like it has something to do with like fears or insecurities. So I'm not sure if like you're hyper independent or you're concerned that someone is going to take something from you. I don't know what this is, but it kind of feels like a level of paranoia. Also mirroring going on in your connections. I don't know. There might actually be like a masculine energy that offers something to you when it comes to like a business collaboration or something like that. It almost feels like a podcast or something, which is kind of weird. Anyway, I feel like you're holding back from this person, and this person kind of feels like low-key manipulative. There's things going on in the background. I don't know what this is, but I don't like this energy. I'm trying to think of like who this could apply to, and I'm like, who is this? I would just Scorpio, be careful and discerning of who you work with. I think that's something that you're going to notice. Like, not everybody that's excited about what you're doing fully supports or even holds the same kind of character values like you do. Like, this has everything to do with character. And although I think there are people that are recognizing that and admire you for that, I don't think they also embody that. Does that make sense? So with that being said, I feel like you might be more compelled to move around and just say what you want to say completely on your own, which is fine. I do think though that you're going to be working with other people. I'm just saying be discerning with that and follow your intuition and your instincts. As I'm saying that, the High Priestess, of course. You might actually be surprised of like who this is. It could be an Aries or all the signs are here technically, but I see mostly masculine energy with Aries, Capricorn, Libra. There's more information coming to light when it comes to this person. What is going on? Because I feel like I'm holding my breath. So it almost feels like an anticipation feeling. So I don't know if this is like community related, like someone in your networks is getting called out or something. I don't know. I'm getting off of this energy. I did not. That's got to be like one of the weirdest ones so far today. Okay, Scorpio. I'm sorry. I had to get off of it. I'm like, ew. Not sure if I'm a fan of that. Show me Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What's going on for the eclipse for you? Show me Pisces. The world. Everybody closing out cycles. The Emperor, the Moon. The Ace of Cups. The Nine of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. The Three of Cups. The Magician. Pisces. This is pretty good. Feeling, So Pisces, when it comes to like your role, say you like took on a new position at work or within your household, or you have like a new baby, something like that. This looks very good. Like you're feeling very solid in your position and being able to lead your family or take on the leadership role when it comes to work. I do feel like that you're working through some insecurities, concerns, or worries when it comes to are you capable, but you definitely are. And I get you have someone that's very supportive around you. This could be an earth sign, but doesn't have to be. They could also have like an earth sign, moon, rising Venus. But it's someone that's like very skillful in what they do. They have a certain skill. I don't, why am I hearing acting, performing, acting? This person could have like a little niche that like you're into. And then I see like some kind of like possible creative collaboration with friends that has something to do with like self-love, getting together, healing. Like Pisces, this feels like very healing. If you've been dealing with like subconscious behaviors or doing shadow work around like father, things about dad, I do see you healing that at this time. There might actually, I don't know why I'm getting this. There's like, say you have like a healer friend, like someone that does tarot, Reiki, shamanism, whatever. They have a message for you. You might be learning something through this person that you weren't expecting. It feels like, I don't know why I heard the word devastating. That's not great. But I think healing was here, so it has to be a good thing. It's something important that you didn't know that you needed to hear, but it's going to help you build your confidence and set something free. Yeah, it feels like something's being communicated to you. Definitely feels like past life, friends, soul tribe, family members being pretty important to you. And these are people that you all have like a commonality with. So I'm trying to think, I'm hearing humanitarianism. So say you're trying to surround yourself with people that have like a common goal. I do see that being pretty important and also very much abundant. Like there's a lot of community and like tight knit kind of feeling here. It looks really good, honestly. All right. Let's move on to Cancer. Show me Cancer. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Cancer, what's going on for them with this eclipse, new moon? Cancer. King of Swords. The Hierophant. The Knight of Cups. The Tower. Justice. King of Cups. What? 7 of Wands. 3 of Wands. 6 of Swords. What? Cancer. Getting caught up in a lie. What? That's what I heard. Well, hopefully it's not you, Cancer. Maybe it's... This might be someone that you're dealing with. I don't know if this is romantic. Or if it's not romantic, it might be professionally or something dealing with legalities or contracts. Because I see the Justice, the Hierophant, and the King of Swords, which is giving me very much like judge, attorney, court kind of vibes. If it's not that, it's in regards to a child. Say you're dealing with like a baby's mama, baby's daddy type of situation. I don't feel like they've been putting in the work in. And then there's like a stealing energy. So, wow, who am I dealing with? Who am I channeling? I'm like hearing like stealing benefits. So like if you're on like, if you're on like government benefits or someone that you're dealing with is, they're gonna get caught. What am I channeling? This is the weirdest one so far, you guys. That is not what I expected. Well, apparently it's not what you're gonna be expecting either, because the Tower card is here. Interesting. You guys' readings crack me up sometimes, and I'm just like, well, my life is not that bad, I guess. Sorry, Cancer, not laughing at you, laughing with you, because I'm hoping this isn't you. I feel like it is someone that you're dealing with or someone around you that is significant that might be linked to if you have a child or a family member. If it's not that, it could possibly be a pet. Now I got stumped. 1 second. Okay. Cancer. If you had concerns if you were going to level up in finances and work, I do see that coming through with you here. I do see like a new investment and possibly a new project. The biggest thing I'm seeing though is like having to walk away with a family situation of thinking of, I'm hearing expectations, so I don't know if like you had high expectations in regards to another parent, a co-parent, family. It feels something family related. You're going to have to walk away from that idea that it's not going to work out the way that you want it to, and I feel like it's more of an emotional detachment that you need to let go of. You've been kind of delaying some changes when it comes to how you take care of yourself and your household and the things that you need to do to get where you need to go. That was a mouthful, but I hope you followed that. Therefore, the universe is bringing in this Tower moment to where it's like, you know, let go or be dragged. So I think it's one of those situations where something might be happening around you and it's really out of your control and really it's tied to you but really has nothing to do with you, is basically what I'm saying. If you're thinking about relocation or real estate, I would say hold off on that. Hold off on that. Also, beware of fake news. Which, I mean, do we have to say that? We all know that, right? Oddly enough, Cancer, I feel like a lot of the things that are going to be changing for you during this eclipse season are the things that have left you extremely dissatisfied, that you haven't moved out of. And they always say, like, with enough desire or pain is when change is created, right? I feel like it's not even really just pain. It's like strictly boredom. And your soul is calling for a new experience. So your spirit is saying like, I'm done with this, been there, done that type of situation, and I'm tired of the old storyline, which is why this is happening. right? You could be meeting someone through your work or through your job. If it's not that, it feels something creative. Whoever this person is very beautiful and has very Venusian energy, is what I want to say. And when I say Venusian, I mean like she's very sensual. She smells good. She looks good. She eats well. She probably knows how to cook. She probably could do a lot of things because the Empress, anything that you give to her, she expands, right? And is there any relation to the Empress and Jupiter? I'm kind of curious. Do you guys know? You would think because the Empress is pregnant, right? And she expands anything that she's given. I would say anything that she touches, but I guess that's more of like the King of Pentacles, right? Everything that he does turns to gold. I would say he's that kind of energy. Now, the Empress, when they say like give and she expands, that means like she's also in the energy to receive. So it's like a very specific dynamic, right? Just keep that in mind. All in all, whatever the situation is, love is growing, and that's why the Empress is here. This person could have a child or a pet, specifically a dog, but it doesn't have to be. You could also possibly meet this person while traveling. If it's not that, they are at a distance. This could have been someone that you left or they left you behind, vice versa, but there is some kind of partnership or spiritual union coming around. I don't know. On a side message, there's something about alignment. So if you've been out of alignment, you're going to get into alignment. And that's exactly how they wanted me to say it. So it kind of sounded threatening. Like, I don't know if like you've been procrastinating, Cancer, on something. Who knows, man? Now I'm thinking of like all my Cancer friends and I'm like, man, I hope they're doing all right. You know, getting into alignment, you guys, I just gotta say, as an intuitive coach, it's not as easy as it sounds. It sounds like, ooh, alignment, things will flow and things are aligned, right? Well, getting into alignment is actually very messy. Once you get into alignment, though, once you're there, then things like flow very easily. But when you're out of alignment, it's like parallel parking in a very condensed city space. That's the best way I could describe it. You're adjusting your car to fit in a certain space multiple times until it adjusts properly. That's alignment. And that's, to be honest, that's why a lot of people don't stick to their spiritual path and their purpose, is because of that. They ignore the obstacles and they think, oh, because there's an obstacle, that means it's not for me. Or sometimes your obstacles are meant to block you and they keep pushing a door that's not meant to open. So it is an intuitive discernment that you guys need to like grow over time. And I say that with urgency because we are living in a time where people are struggling with their inner discernment. I think that's why that message came out in a reading about false news. With the bigger, higher technology that we have, it's a lot harder for people to use their intuition and discern properly on what is real, what is authentic. But intuition never lies. And what I teach my clients and my coaching members, and based off my own life experience, is that your body will respond to something before your mind can even comprehend. Let me say that again, slower. Your body will respond to something before your mind even comprehends. So just think about that. Sit with that, especially since we're in this eclipse retrograde transit season where things are going to feel very chaotic and you might question your path, You might question how you feel. And the best way to pay attention to how you feel is to sit in the stillness and the quietness. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but you're really not going to be able to figure that out without that space. Now, if you're someone that's very restless and overstimulated, it's going to be very easy to miss the signs. Another way to be able to practice good discernment is to journal. Pay attention to how your body feels. Write down the body responses and symptoms that happens when you're in a place, when you're interacting with a certain person, the foods that you eat, etc., etc., etc. And we just had a full moon eclipse in Virgo, which is very much has to do with our health habits, our daily routines, lists, plans, organizations. Those are things that need to be refined. So that is coming up a lot for people's readings and something that I'm personally experiencing myself. It's hard for me to like say that because I do have a Virgo moon as well as my Jupiter placement, which actually gives me quite a bit of luck, especially for this year. So I'm very excited. But so far, I was like, it's been a mixed bag. I feel like it's too soon to tell with eclipse energy because although it can feel like the rug is pulled out from underneath you, it is supposed to happen exactly that way. That means that something was lingering for too long and you were sitting in indecision, or you're repeating lessons and the universe kind of steps in and it's like Jesus take the wheel kind of energy. Makes sense. So give yourself grace. With that being said, since we were on the topic of discernment and I'm an intuitive coach, I do have a program that's 6 months of 3 readings a month. I always like say it weird. I almost said 3 months of 6 emailed readings a month. No, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, and we coach you. I say my spirit team. We coach you to grow your inner discernment. And honestly, as much as I do tarot readings, you guys, I don't think it's healthy for people to constantly get tarot readings, which is kind of why I made the program the way that I did. I even tell my coaching members, like, if I do like a mini reading on like my Instagram stories, or I do like free readings for testimonials, blah blah blah, I always tell them to not participate because I'm like, for one, you get 3 emailed readings from me every month already, and like 2, to practice your discernment, you really want to look back at your tarot readings and kind of have some introspection and reflection going on. And because time is linear with tarot readings, I mean, sometimes it can give you timing, but not always. I would say 9 times out of 10, it doesn't, because we're not meant to know everything. No, is changing the matrix. Can you just imagine the chaos? You want to look back on those things and notice patterns. And sometimes I channel like signs, messages, songs, things that you would be able to articulate based on your own life experience, because I'm not there with you holding your hand. I can only tap in energetically. Makes sense? So you know your life better than I do. Which I guess goes to say also, like, don't put your whole life into tarot readings. Like, if you're having like an awesome time relationship in life and there are no problems going on with your life, I don't think you should be constantly watching tarot readings. Although I love that you support me and want to watch my readings. I'm just saying, like, don't put too much of your eggs in one basket is what I'm saying, and be open to the possibilities, because I've definitely had readings myself, even with my mentor, when readings have shifted and she said that this was going to happen, but it was more so like mapping out my choices. Does that make sense? And there are different storylines, like when you're watching tarot readings based on your astrological sun sign, for example. Sometimes that's not always your message, and sometimes your message is in your moon, rising, or Venus. And then you're gonna like get all hyped up about like someone that you're seeing like messaging multiple people and like based off what a tarot reader told you, when it probably might have not been your story. So also another reason why strengthening your inner discernment is very important when you watch tarot readings. You also got to keep in mind with how many people are in the world and how many Geminis, like, say you, here's a good example that I see in a lot of my readings. Say you left an abusive relationship and then you started like seeing someone else and dating and blah, blah, blah. So there are going to be multiple people in your energy. And say your ex didn't let you go. Well, he might pop up in like the YouTube tarot readings that you guys watch. And it's based off an old storyline that you already experienced, but say in another Aquarius is still on that timeline. Even though you shifted, there could be a whole nother group of Aquariuses that are going through that experience still. So, count your blessings and just be grateful that you got off that old storyline. Does that make sense, you guys? I just feel like I had to say that because it's really easy to get delusional with these kind of things. I would say with more accuracy, birth chart readings, they can like give you a little bit more facts, I guess you could say. I like to use it more for like self-awareness purposes, like looking into subconscious things. I just started like digging into like Sabian symbols and looking at my progressed chart as well as like synastry. And this is like newfound information. Like I guess you could say you always have the skill and the curiosity and the interests, but I'm like just now getting into it, even though like astrology kind of ties into tarot readings. And that's kind of why I've been starting the tarot readings off with like, what's going on with the astrological transits, because you guys will see the patterns coming out in the cards. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there were repeating cards just now. There was a lot of like water, fire sign energy. The Empress came out, the King of Pentacles, because everybody's focused on self, how to take care of themselves, their health, their money, their well-being, their business, their family. That's definitely what's going on with this eclipse energy. I would say that was more so the full moon in Virgo eclipse compared to this new moon in Aries, where I guess the full moon was like more about a reassessing, and then this new moon will be about releasing so that we can take action. Aries, right? Does that make sense? Let me know if you guys are catching my drift. But anyway, it is 4:40. It is almost dinner time and turn off my lifetime. I've been waiting for this moment all day, you guys. Like, I'm excited to just chill. But I hope that was useful for you guys. If you need a personal reading, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or go ahead and check out my links. I do emailed readings as well as virtual calls and pre-recorded sessions where I send you a private YouTube link that you can keep forever and rewatch when you need to. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I'll see you till next time. Bye.